You know that one person who thinks the rules don't apply to them. Imagine standing in line, half awake, desperate for your morning coffee, when some smug guy just strolls up, cuts the whole line, and acts like he owns the place. Well, I decided enough was enough. And what happened next? Let's just say, he never tried it again. If you've ever wanted to see a line cutter get exactly what they deserve, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for a story that proves karma is real. And sometimes it comes with a side of espresso. Every morning, like clockwork, I'd drag myself out of bed, throw on whatever was clean, and shuffle down to my favorite little coffee shop before work. It's a tiny place, barely enough room for a handful of people to stand in line, the air thick with the smell of fresh ground beans and the low hum of indie music. The kind of spot where the barista knows your name and your order, and the regulars nod at each other in silent caffeine-deprived solidarity. But there's one thing that unites us all, no matter how tired or grumpy we are: the line. It's sacred. It's the only thing standing between us and the sweet, life-giving nectar that is coffee. And everyone respects it. Or, almost everyone. Enter that guy. You know the type. Always a little too put together for 7:30 in the morning. Designer jacket, perfect hair, phone glued to his ear like he's closing some $1 million deal. He'd walk in, glance at the line 5, maybe 6 people deep, and you could see it in his eyes. Rules are for other people. The first time I saw him do it, I thought maybe it was a fluke. He breezed past the line, straight up to the counter, and with a big, fake smile, said, "Hey, quick question." The barista, caught off guard, paused mid. "What size is your medium again?" he asked, as if he'd never been to a coffee shop in his life. And then, as if it was the most natural thing in the world, he just ordered. Right there. No shame. I felt my jaw clench. The woman in front of me shot me a look, half disbelief, half resignation. But nobody said anything. Because, let's be honest, who wants to start a confrontation before they've had their coffee? But then, he did it again. And again. 4 times, at least, that I saw. Each time, a new, urgent question. Each time, he'd just slide right into ordering, skipping the line like it was his birthright. The rest of us, we just stood there, silent, stewing in our collective annoyance. It's funny how something so small can get under your skin. Every morning, I'd see him walk in, and my stomach would tighten. I'd grip my phone a little harder, my foot tapping out a nervous rhythm on the tile floor. I started to dread seeing him, not just because of the line, but because of what it said about the world, that some people really do think they're better than everyone else. I'd replay the scene in my head, imagining what I'd say if I had the guts. "Hey, there's a line, buddy." Or maybe something more passive-aggressive. "Wow, must be nice to be so important." But I never did. None of us did. We just let it happen, day after day. And that's when I realized he was counting on it. He knew nobody wanted to make a scene. He knew we'd all just grumble and let him get away with it. And that made my blood boil. One morning, after he'd pulled his little stunt for the 4th time, I walked out of the shop with my coffee, but I barely tasted it. My mind was racing. Why did he get to break the rules? Why did we all just let him? I felt powerless, invisible, like my time, my patience, didn't matter. That's when I decided, if nobody else was going to do something, I would. But I wasn't going to yell, or make a scene. No, I was going to beat him at his own game. The next morning, I got to the shop a little earlier than usual. I took my spot in line, heart pounding, eyes glued to the door. Sure enough, a few minutes later, in he walked, same smug smile, same air of self-importance. He glanced at the line, then started his usual routine. casual stroll toward the counter, like he just remembered something urgent. But this time, I was ready. As soon as I saw him make his move, I stepped out of line quick, but casual, like I'd just had a sudden thought. I beat him to the counter by a split second. "Hey, sorry, quick question," I said, flashing my most innocent smile at the barista. She looked up, a little surprised. The line cutter stopped in his tracks, forced to hover awkwardly behind me. I took a deep breath, channeling every annoying customer I'd ever seen. "So, what's the difference between a latte and a cappuccino again?" I asked, genuinely curious. The barista launched into a detailed explanation: milk ratios, foam, espresso shots. I nodded along, asking follow-up questions. "Oh, and do you have oat milk? What about almond, soy? Which one froths better?" I could feel the guy behind me shifting his weight, glancing at his watch, getting more and more impatient. The line behind us grew. People started to notice. "And your pastry scan, you explain the whole selection. Which ones are vegan, gluten-free? What's your favorite?" The barista, bless her heart, went through every single item. I listened, nodding, pretending to weigh my options. Finally, I said, "You know what? I need a minute to think. I'll just get back in line." And with that, I turned and walked back to my spot, leaving the line cutter stranded at the counter, looking like a deer in headlights. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. My palms were sweaty, but I kept my face calm, almost bored. Inside though, I was grinning ear to ear. I could see the confusion and frustration on his face, the way his jaw tightened. The way he tried to play it cool but couldn't quite pull it off. He hesitated, glancing at the barista, then at the line. For the first time, he looked uncertain, vulnerable. Like maybe, just maybe, he wasn't the main character after all. "Barista. Can I help you, sir?" Line cutter. Yeah, I had a question, but, never mind." He slunk back to the end of the line, cheeks a little redder than before. But I didn't stop there. Every time he tried his little trick, I was ready. I'd step out of line, beat him to the counter, and ask the most time-consuming, pointless questions I could think of. How many shots are in a venti macchiato? Is your decaf really decaf? Can I see the ingredients list for your muffins? Each time, I'd end with, "Actually, I'll just get back in line." And each time, he'd be left standing there, exposed, with everyone watching. After about a week of this, something changed. He stopped trying to cut. He'd walk in, see me in line, and just sigh. He'd take his place at the back, like everyone else. The unspoken order of the coffee shop had been restored. The best part? The look on his face the first time he realized he couldn't get away with it anymore. That mix of annoyance, embarrassment, and just, for a second, respect. He never said a word to me, but he didn't have to. I'd made my point. And the rest of the regulars. They noticed. I got a few nods, a couple of grateful smiles. One woman even whispered, "Thank you," as she passed me on her way out. It wasn't just about MIT, was about all of us. About standing up, in a small way, for what's right. I walked out of the shop that day with my coffee in hand, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. It wasn't tea, just the caffeine. It was the satisfaction of knowing I'd stood up for myself, and for everyone else who'd ever been made to feel invisible. Sometimes, justice isn't about grand gestures or dramatic confrontations. Sometimes, it's about the little things, the quiet moments, when you decide you're not going to let someone walk all over you. And sometimes, the sweetest revenge is just making sure the rules apply to everyone. If this story made you smile, hit that like button and tell us in the comments, what's the pettiest, most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of everyday justice, karma, and standing up for what's right. Until next time, keep your place in line, don't let anyone cut ahead.